This is a book for life. It is a book to shape lives. And it has a value that you really won't realize until you read it. So that means you all have to walk out of here with several copies because you'll want to share it with the rest of your family because that's the only way you will get along with them after you read this book. Okay, so given all the fun and the jesting about that, I just have to tell you how proud I am to stand here at this moment because Valerie and I never got a chance to work together on TV. I was one of her biggest fans because she was a trailblazer during her college days. She was the queen of the ball, and I thought a young, beautiful woman like that, that has a heart, that she wants to communicate with everyone, belongs in this business in a big way. And so, first time to do a testimonial, but we have been friends forever, and I think that she is a wonderful woman. And the most wonderful part of it is what she has given us here.
Well, I'm going to move along into, I guess, a new pressure that I am hearing about, but you outline other things that could have had a part in this. And that is the cost of education, the consideration of that when you're thinking the marriage story, and when you're also thinking later life. Is there more emphasis now on trying to prepare to make sure your children are get a decent education?
Well, but that's a really interesting question because whenever we talk about our children and money, the heart gets involved and it gets very emotional. Again, I'm going to make a specific comment with regard to people of color and then a broader one. Within the African American community, we all know that one of the things that's always said is everybody's got to go to college. And the reality is, I believe, there are some people, some children who don't need to go to college. They may already have a skill that is identified and clear and that they love and that they enjoy. So send them to a technical institute or send them to a trade school. But so often as parents, we feel they must have a college education. So you're taking this huge amount of money and sending a child off to college who would really rather be tinkering with tearing everything apart and putting it back together. I always say to parents, when you think that way, think of what college is supposed to do. It is to prepare our children to have a solid, good education with solid and good skills. If they already have those skills, let's not just keep reinventing this old thing, everybody has to go to college. Everyone needs a higher education. But especially within the Black community, there are way too many parents who give up their retirement, their savings, their everything to send a child to college. Point two on this, I do believe that education is critically important, but I also think it's enhanced when you say to your child, as Robert and I did, we had 3 in college at the same time. You have to help. And it's not just with finding out, if there's a scholarship available. As capable as young people are on the internet now, do you know there are millions and millions of dollars every single year that go unused because nobody applied for it? Well, here's the deal. Tell your child, I'm going to do half or a quarter or whatever it is that you can do, but what is it that they need to bring to the table? And I also want to say a word about junior colleges. They are hugely important and they are affordable, and it's a good place where both the student and the parent or the adult guardian in their life can figure out how good will they be at this, or is there something else they need to do? And the final thing about education, and I write extensively about it in the book, if you are a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a someone else, don't always walk in the house carrying the biggest box with toys. 529 plans. That's what our grandchildren know. As Morgan has said to me in the past, thank you for being a present in my future. Even though I'd said to him, I want to have a presence in your future, but I like his definition of it more. And when his sister was born, he looked at me a few hours later and said, is sister going to have a 9 plan? Well, he just knew that it was this numbered something and that he had it and it was a big deal. But what that affords us the opportunity to do is it $10 a month? Is it $20 a month? Is it $10 a year? Whatever. It allows family and friends to pay for college in the future at today's prices. But how many grandparents or aunts or uncles or whatever would do that because we're so disciplined into thinking we're supposed to bring in a box, it's supposed to look like this, it's supposed to feel like this? Break the mold. Tell them it's a 529 plan, and yeah, I'm going to be present in your future.
Okay, so let's talk about you. You've done it. You've got the kid through college. He's gone off, and we sort of mentioned this before. But we're in this recessionary period, and as try as they might, they find themselves knocking on your door again. So that changes life for everyone. What are you advising in the book?
What you're asking about is this boomerang generation, which interestingly enough, it's not just a boomerang of children. We are finding it is also a boomerang of elders. Elders who have left the family home, sold it or whatever, and have gone to a retirement community and are now finding the good news is our elders are living longer. The difficult news is even though many of them were fabulous savers, they are outliving their money because they didn't know they were going to live that long. So the problem then becomes, what do they do? So many of them are coming home. Speaking to our homes, to baby boomers' homes. When I talk about the 20-somethings and 30-somethings who are returning home as boomerang, it's not because they're bad kids. It's because the economy is horrible. What happens is that a lot of good kids find they can't make it, and so they call mom and dad and they come home. I think it's critically important that you do a couple of things. Number one, have a conversation before they come back into the house. They may be coming back into their childhood room, but they're adults now, and we are middle-aged and above and can't necessarily absorb that. So there needs to be a conversation when they come back in what the rules are. For example, we aren't staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning anymore waiting for you to come in. You're an adult. We expect you to, you're living here. Get here responsibly. Overnight guests, it's called a hotel. Make sure that they are contributing something to the household financially every month on time. Regardless of what their circumstances are they still going out to movies? Are they going out to meet friends? Are they driving their car? Are they putting gas in the car? So there is some money somewhere. I think it's really important to make sure that they understand where their parents are and that this isn't just we can just keep writing the check and everything is okay. So they need to have a set amount that they will contribute to the household. Make sure the check doesn't bounce and don't tick off the management. Because this is a collaborative, a cooperative economics that's going on. And the final thing needs to be, when are you leaving? And it's not because we don't love our children. It is because by doing this, you do in many ways disable them from being able to make it when they do get back out in the world. So it is that I think there needs to be a very deliberate of the mind and the spirit plan for welcoming home our children who may have been out and have tried. But you can't, it's much like college. I do this thing, I speak of it in the book where I say, what if I could say to each of you tonight, when you leave here, you will have $10,000 in your hand. But you can spend it on one of two things, but you can't split it. It has to be all or nothing. $10,000, and it funds your child's education. $10,000 towards your retirement. Rarely is there just one right answer when it comes to money because money is very personal. And what your circumstances are may be different from everybody else's in the room. But with the question that I just posed, the only answer is fund your retirement. You can get grants, you can get all sorts of things to pay for college or higher education. Who's writing you a check in your golden years? So again, we have to separate sometimes that which the heart stands up and says, and that what the mind, along with the spirit, understands must be.
Well, of course, I certainly understood the chapter titled The Age of Unretirement. I think I've retired 3 times already. One would expect in a world that is as wired in as the one we live in today, that the 20-somethings of the world would be better money managers than the generation before them. But do they get it? Are they doing better things with their money, even with all this knowledge?
Oh yes, 20-somethings and 30-somethings, young people are doing much better than we are. And I think in part, It's because this recession showed, and a lot of kids, I think, then looked at what they thought life was like. You know, the famous Cosby Show scene where I think Theo was the one who was saying, but I thought we were rich, you know, and Dad says, no, your mother and I are rich. You aren't. And now it is not even that your mother and I are rich. It is that everybody has gotten, you know, hit by this. And so I think it's very important that everybody truly understand and take something that they say, you know what, this is my new normal. Creating a new normal is such a critically important thing when it comes to money. How can you do that? How can you make sure, all right, for example, families say but we've always done this. Well, guess what? This is why we're doing it differently. It's the reason why I say I think that money issues should be on the dinner table every night. The number of parents will say, don't tell the kids. You know, Dad was laid off, but don't tell the kids. Well, what are the kids going to think? And how are they going to manage that? The kids need to know. Another thing that happens with great regularity, people will say, well, you know what? I'm not putting my money in a bank. I'm not putting it in a bank, especially African American women. We have this problem. And there is a story that I tell that happened about 5 years ago in New York, where a good daughter thought that she was taking care of her mom and replacing her mom's old lumpy mattress that she had had forever. Does anybody remember this? Somebody say, oh yeah? And the mother had her life savings in the mattress, and it was thrown away. And they searched garbage dumps and never found it. The point is, number one, putting it in the mattress or in a coffee can on a shelf. Some people will say, and especially as I said, black women will say, well, at least I'm not losing anything. That's true, but you will not keep up with inflation. My daughters have said the single most important thing that I did for them as they watched me lose my parents was that I improved on what they know about what I need when that happens to me. You know, so, I mean, Robert and I know where our individual papers are. We know what we've told our daughters what we want. But when it comes to the money, it has to all be there in writing. So share that, Will. This book is not necessarily for a person who says, well, I do day trading, my portfolio is fine, I know all of that. No, this book is about everyday people, many of whom knew the basics but forgot. Some of whom never knew the basics, even though they've made a lot of money. So for me, taking this phrase, it's your money, so take it personally, has got to be what motivates everybody to do a better job. But there are ways that we can make a difference to at least move forward so that you can measure it. It's incremental, but if you are deliberate, consistent, dedicated, and pay it forward and pay yourself first all the time, your money will work for you. I'd like to thank you all very, very much for being here. My goal is to make sure that we are working on things now where we can have, hopefully, television segments that will do exactly what we have done tonight, because that's where I want to be. Back on Bay Area television, doing personal money issues, telling everyday people, this is the news story of the day, here's how it goes to your wallet, and what you can do to make sure that your money serves you well. Thank you all. Health and wealth. And Belva, thank you very much.
It's Your Money, So Take It Personally by Valerie Coleman Morris. Can be purchased at Marcus Bookstore, 1712 Fillmore Street in San Francisco, or call 415-346-4222.